Chapter 1438, Right hand is no good, left hand is no good. Time passed quickly. There was only 15 minutes left until the end of the competition. Yun Chuzhou turned her head to look at Li Wei. Li Wei had already completed half of his 6th explosive talisman. He would definitely complete 6 before the end of the competition, which was 30 points. Yun Chuzhou frowned. She only had 2 supreme-grade explosive talismans now. She needed to complete at least one more supreme-grade explosive talisman to be able to tie with Li Wei. However, the judge with the triangular eyes might use the reason of her broken talisman brush to place her in 2nd place. Therefore, she needed to complete at least 2 supreme-grade explosive talismans. However, how should she solve this situation where the demon beast's blood supply was insufficient? Everyone in the Tianyuan continent had already lost their confidence. They cursed the Netherworld continent for being despicable and lamented Yun Chuzhou's bad luck. In short, they no longer had any hope for Yun Chuzhou. At first, they thought that Yun Chuzhou would really be able to create a miracle with her finger. They did not expect that she would be crippled halfway through the drawing. Sigh, she was definitely going to lose this round. Yun Chuzhou's gaze was heavy as she stared at the plate that contained the demonic beast's blood. How could she ensure that the demonic beast's blood was sufficient? Yun Chuzhou looked at her right hand. Fuck, if only she was a demonic beast. She would just bite her finger and draw. Yun Chuzhou looked at her hands and her eyes suddenly lit up. There it is. The people below the competition stage suddenly exclaimed, "Look! Yun Chuzhou is drawing with her finger again." Sigh. It's useless. Even if she drew it, she will still fail. Didn't she fail just now? No matter what, this Yun Chuzhou is still quite hardworking. We were wrong about her before. Everyone was discussing as they watched Yun Chuzhou rapidly draw talismans. Then, they were stunned by Yun Chuzhou's next actions. They saw Yun Chuzhou drawing with her right index finger that suddenly turned into her left index finger. Yun Chuzhou took advantage of this opening and dipped her right index finger into some demonic beast blood again before continuing to draw again. The crowd instantly exploded. How could this work? Didn't they say that it was most taboo to have unstable spiritual energy when drawing talismans? She had changed her fingers twice in the middle, so why was the talisman not destroyed yet? The host and the judge on the stage were all stunned by Yun Chuzhou's behavior. They were already shocked enough when Yun Chuzhou used her fingers to draw talismans, but now this little girl actually changed her fingers to draw talismans. Moreover, the talisman was not destroyed yet. The judge with San Jiaoyan snorted in his heart. It was impossible to succeed. Even if it was not destroyed now, it would be destroyed soon. He had never heard of anyone who could draw a talisman with their fingers, let alone changing their fingers in the middle. Just as the judge with San Jiaoyan was thinking about it, he heard the few judges around him exclaim in surprise. Actually, as a judge, they should keep quiet. However, they were really too shocked. They saw that not only did Yun Chuzhou complete the talisman, but there was also a golden light shining on it. Obviously, it was a super-grade explosive talisman. The people below the stage could not see the situation clearly, but they could roughly guess the situation when they saw the referee's shocked expressions. They could not help but feel excited again. Yun Chuzhou succeeded. She must have succeeded. Otherwise, those referees would not be so surprised. I guess so. It's just that we don't have enough time. No matter how fast she drew, she could only draw one more. That Li Wei could probably finish 6, so Yun Chuzhou still lost. No, there's another possibility. Yun Chuzhou drew all supreme-grade explosive talismans. 4 of them would be 40 points, and she would be able to surpass Li Wei. Chapter 1439, For supreme-grade explosive talismans. When the people from the Netherworld heard the people from the Tianyuan continent say this, they immediately mocked, "Are you people from the Tianyuan continent crazy? For supreme-grade explosive talismans? Not to mention that Yun Chujio drew them with her fingers. Even a talisman master with a talisman brush might not be able to draw 4 supreme-grade talismans in one go. That's right. Your Tian Yuan continent will definitely lose this round. The first place goes to our netherworld continent's Li Wei. The people of Tian Yuan continent were naturally not convinced, one person said, HMPH. Just because you guys can't do it doesn't mean that Yun Chujio can't do it. Yun Chujio even refined 5 super-grade elixirs previously. Your Si Tushar even said that Yun Chujio cheated. Bah! You people from the netherworld continent are really shameless. You are the fucking shameless one. You people from the Tianyuan continent are all trash. You guys will definitely lose this round. Dean Huangfu stared nervously at Yun Chujio who was on the stage. He felt that his old heart was about to stop beating. Little Jio could definitely do it. What she drew would definitely be a supreme-grade explosive talisman. As long as she successfully drew another one. Even if it was a high-grade explosive talisman, the first place would still belong to Little Jio. Si Tushi's heart was also raised. He stared maliciously at Yun Chujio who was drawing talismans with her fingers on the stage. HMPH, so what if you could really draw 2 talismans? You only drew a total of 4 talismans. You can't even compare to Li Wei. As for transcendent grade talismans, stop dreaming. That's impossible. Just before the end of the competition, Yun Chujio's 4th talisman was completed. Yun Chujio let out a sigh of relief. Although it was a close call, it was finally completed. Li Wei, who was beside Yun Chujio, saw the 4 talismans on Yun Chujio's workbench and almost collapsed to the ground. She actually used her fingers to draw 2 more burst talismans. Moreover, they were super-grade talismans. How? How was this possible? At this moment, the 10 judges had already left their seats to assess the first contestant's results. However, Li Wei was not in the mood to pay attention. He knew that he had lost. Li Wei was still immersed in the shock when he saw a white shadow flash before his eyes. When he focused his eyes, he realized that it was Yun Chujio who had taken away his talisman pen. Li Wei was about to question her, but Yun Chujio made a gesture of silence. During the judging process, the other contestants were not allowed to interfere with the judging process, so Li Wei could only remain silent in anger. However, the host was paying attention to the situation here. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and waved at the host. She handed the talisman pen that had been cut into 2 pieces and Li Wei's talisman pen to the host. She mouthed, "Help me take care of it." Although the host did not know what Yun Chujio was going to do, she was still willing to help with such a simple task. Hence, she nodded and kept the talisman pen. After the results of the first 8 people were announced, the 10 judges came to Li Wei's workbench. After checking the talisman, they handed the results to the host. Netherworld Academy, Li Wei, completes 6 high-grade explosive talismans within the stipulated time. 30 points, the host announced loudly. Everyone was not surprised by this. They stretched their necks and waited for Yun Chujio's results. The 10 referees walked to Yun Chujio's workbench. Although they had already made a mental prediction, they were still very shocked and they saw the 4 golden explosive talismans, especially the last 2, those were drawn by Yun Chujio with 2 fingers. It was simply too heaven-defying. Although the triangular-eyed judge wanted to find some flaws in the talismans, no matter how he looked at it, it was still a perfect supergrade burst talisman. There were no flaws at all. It was as if he was looking at Sanjiaoyan. The host announced slightly excitedly, Tian Yuan Academy, Yun Chujio has completed 4 supergrade burst talismans within the stipulated time. She has 40 points. The first place in the talisman competition is Yun Chujio. The crowd immediately exploded. Chapter 1440. You have a point. The people of the Tian Yuan continent had gone from hell to paradise in an instant. This feeling was too fucking exciting. It was too fucking awesome. Everyone felt that if they did not roar a few times, they would go crazy. So what if you don't have a talisman pen? You can still get first place with your fingers. Yun Chuzhou. You are too amazing. Yun Chuzhou. You are my idol. Fairy Yun. You are the best. You are the pride of our Tian Yuan continent. Dean Huangfu was so happy that he almost jumped up. Little Jiu was really good. Di Linhan and Yu Yu proudly straightened their backs. Now, he wished that everyone on the entire continent knew that this was my future daughter-in-law. All of you should fucking stop thinking about my daughter-in-law. This is my son's. Right at this moment, the judge with the triangular eyes said loudly, "Wait. Yun Chuzhou cannot obtain the first place. The first place should go to Li Wei." Everyone was shocked by his words and the people from the Tian Yuan continent started to curse, "Bullshit. Yun Chuzhou has 10 more points than Li Wei. Why is the first place not Yun Chuzhius? That's right. Are you blind or deaf? The first place goes to Yun Chuzhou. I think he's blind in the heart. How shameless." San Jiaoyan said with a fake smile, "I have my reasons for saying that." What was the test of making talismans? It was the stability of the output of spiritual power. Yun Chuzhou broke the talisman pen, which meant that there was a flaw in her output of spiritual power. In addition, the talisman pen had always been used to make talismans, but she used her finger. This was against the rules. Therefore, the first place should belong to Li Wei. The people from the Tian Yuan continent were instantly enraged. "You're fucking spouting nonsense. No matter if it's a white cat or a black cat catching a mouse, it's a good cat. What's wrong with Yun Chuzhou using her finger? Using your finger? Pooey. The rules of the competition did not say that you were not allowed to use your finger at all. Furthermore, didn't they say that the quality and quantity of talisman writing would be used as the basis for the results? What right do you have to say that Yun Chuzhius doesn't count? Shameless. You're from the Netherworld continent, so you're speaking up for the Netherworld continent. If you lie like this, you might be struck by lightning." The people from the Netherworld continent were in favor of San Jiaoyan's judgment. They were competing with the people from the Tian Yuan continent. The judge is right. Yun Chuzhou broke the talisman brush. How can she be considered a talisman master? This is the same logic as a chef who made a mistake while cooking. She doesn't deserve to be first. That's right. She is not representative at all. Are we going to use our fingers to make talismans in the future? That's right. That's why Li Wei deserves to be first. After all, Li Wei's talisman brush is not broken. Dean Huangfu was so angry that his beard was raised. Just as he was about to argue with the judge with San Jiaoyan, he heard Yun Chuzhou say clearly, "Everyone, quiet down. I have something to say." Yun Chuzhou was now the focus of attention. Everyone quieted down when they heard what she said. They wanted to hear what Yun Chuzhou had to say. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, "This judge, what you said is very reasonable." The people of the Tian Yuan continent almost fainted from anger. "Yun Chuzhou, your head was kicked by a spirit beast. Are you crazy?" The San Jiaoyan judge snorted coldly, "It's good that you know. Since that's the case, host, please announce again. The first place goes to Li Wei." "Wait, I haven't finished speaking. What's the rush? Although what you said is reasonable, the premise of your words is that those talisman pens haven't been tampered with." Yun Chuzhou said coldly. Chapter 1441, You're really stupid. San Jiaoyan was shocked, but he said angrily, "What do you mean?" Yun Chuzhou said faintly, "What do I mean? Do you think your little tricks in the netherworld are very good? You just did some tricks on the talisman brush. On the surface, it seems that 2 of your students' talisman brushes are broken, just like ours. HMPH, didn't you want to abandon the pawn to protect the cart? Kill the strongest person on our side, Su Feng, and then Li Wei will get first place. Am I right? You're slandering me. You're slandering the referee for no reason. Your results have been cancelled. The Sanjiaoyan referee was shocked. This stupid girl was too smart. However, so what if you guessed it? You have no evidence at all. Referee? Do you deserve to be called a referee with your character? Do you think I have no evidence? Could you please invite the 10 referees from yesterday's refining to come up and check our talisman pens to see if there is anything fishy inside? I believe that you will be able to see the problem clearly. Yun Chujio said to the VIP seats. The triangle-eyed judge panicked when he heard that. He wanted to say that he could not let those people see the problem. If ordinary people could not see the problem, those old people would definitely be able to see it. He had to destroy the evidence. If that was the case, there was nothing they could do even if they were suspicious. When the triangle-eyed judge thought of this, he suddenly walked to the front of the contestants' workstations and gathered all the talismans and pencils together. Sanjiaoyan. Then, he said angrily, "What's wrong with these Dao talismans? They are all the same. If you don't believe me, I will prove it to you." Sanjiaoyan's hand tightened, and all the Dao talismans were shattered into powder. Then, he said, "Look, what's different? They are all the same structure." Everyone was not stupid. They all knew that Sanjiaoyan was destroying the evidence. They cursed angrily, but they also knew that the evidence had been destroyed by him. If he said it without any evidence, he was afraid that he would have to file a lawsuit. This matter would be difficult to resolve. Yun Chujio laughed crisply. She laughed very unhappily. Do you think that by destroying the evidence, I won't be able to prove that you guys tampered with the talisman pens? TSK, you guys are really stupid. Do you think that I, Yun Chujio, am that stupid? Allowing you to destroy the evidence? 10 artifact masters, please come up and help identify it. Sanjiaoyan did not understand what Yun Chujio meant at the beginning. When he saw Li Wei winking at him, he was shocked to realize that he had only destroyed 8 talisman pens and did not see the talisman pens of Li Wei and Yun Chujio. Sanjiaoyan's head buzzed. It was over. It was going to be bad. Before he could think of a countermeasure, the 10 refining referees had already jumped onto the competition stage. Yun Chujio said to the other 9 Dao Talisman's referees, I believe that all of you have a conscience and professional ethics. You should also want to get to the bottom of this matter, right? In that case, please keep an eye on this scum so that he won't destroy the evidence again during the appraisal process. The 9 judges nodded and blocked the judge with Sanjiaoyan behind them. In fact, they already knew that the talisman brush must have been tampered with by the Nether Academy. However, the talisman brush had been destroyed. What evidence could the little girl bring out? Yun Chujio smiled at the host. Please pass Li Wei and my talisman brush to the 10 artifact masters and let them see the tricks in it. Chapter 1442, The Truth Was Revealed. The host handed Yun Chujio and Li Wei's talisman pens to the 10 refining referees. The host was full of admiration for Yun Chujio. No wonder the little girl asked him to help preserve the talisman pens. It turned out that she had already anticipated this scene. It was too monstrous. Almost everyone had the same thoughts as him. Heavens, this Yun Chujio was simply not human. She had actually thought of all this ahead of time, so she had made preparations. She was really too smart. Si Tushar was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Although he hated Yun Chujio for being smart, he hated Li Wei even more. You piece of trash. He couldn't even hold on to his own pen and it had actually been snatched away by that smelly girl. It was fine if it had been snatched away, but why didn't you give referee Lu a warning? But now, the matter was about to be exposed. What should he do? Di Linhan did not even know how to express his pride. Good. This was just too good. That little brat Bei Ming really had good taste. When Xueli saw the smug look on Di Linhan's face, he felt a little sour in his heart. HMPH, he did not believe that he would not be able to help Wuji find a wife who was even more amazing than Yun Chuzhou. Let's wait and see. At this moment, the 10 artifact refining referees on the competition stage had already finished checking the 2 talisman pens. Among them, the 5 artifact refining referees from the Netherworld continent looked a little embarrassed. They did not expect that the Netherworld Academy would actually use such a despicable method. It was really disgraceful. A refining referees from the Tianyuan continent said coldly, "We have finished checking. Li Weiss Dao talismans are normal Dao talismans. However, the Dao talismans that Yun Chuzhou has broken, although it can't be seen from the outside, the inside of the pen shaft has been tampered with. As long as the spiritual power reaches a certain value, the pen shaft will break." The crowd immediately exploded. The Tianyuan continent's curses were as unpleasant as they could be. Even the people from the Netherworld continent felt that this matter was too embarrassing. It was not impossible for you to do something. Don't let others find out about it. This time, you were caught by the Tianyuan continent. It was simply too embarrassing. Si Tushi's forehead was once again covered in sweat. He gritted his teeth. At this point, he could only abandon his pawn to protect the cart. Hence, he shouted angrily, "Lu Kuei. I never thought that you would actually do such a despicable thing. Even though your starting point is for the Netherworld, what we want is an upright victory, not a victory that relies on means. You are simply too much." Lu Kuei, who was also the triangular-eyed judge, was stunned at first. When he saw Si Tushi's vicious gaze, he immediately understood Si Tushi's meaning. He could only say, "Humph. One should take responsibility for one's actions. This matter was indeed done by me. Since I've been discovered, I can't say anything. TSK, your Netherworld continent is really heartless. Once something happens, you push your subordinates to take the blame. This Judge Lu, I really feel bad for you. Your reputation in this lifetime will be ruined. TSK, I don't know if your master will kill you to silence you when we return. I'm really worried for you." Yun Chuzhou said in a tone that said, "I'm doing you a favor." The triangular-eyed judge's heart was thumping heavily because of Yun Chuzhou's words. He knew Si Tushi's character. Perhaps he would really kill him to silence him. Cold sweat dripped down his back. He had never thought that Si Tushi would actually kill Si Tushi. Yun Chuzhou pursed her lips. "Damn it. I'll scare you to death. Play tricks with me, I'll torture you to death." The other 9 talisman judges, seeing that the matter had been investigated thoroughly, had the host once again confirmed the results of the competition. The winner of this round of talisman competition was Tianyuan Academy. Chapter 1443 Beast Taming Competition began. After thanking the host and the judges, Yun Chuzhou jumped off the competition stage and jumped to the viewing area of Tianyuan Academy. What greeted her was naturally a tsunami of praise. This guy pretended to be modest and then jumped in front of Dean Huangfu. "Dean, I also want to participate in the beast taming competition. Remember to help me get the quota for the beast taming competition," Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Even if Dean Huangfu said that Yun Chuzhou wanted his old life, he estimated that he would not hesitate. Not to mention that Yun Chuzhou wanted the beast taming quota for the Tianyuan Academy. He immediately found a student who originally wanted to participate in the beast taming competition. That student immediately agreed. "What a joke, how can I compete with this monster? Let her go." After a short rest, the most crucial round of the first phase of the competition, the beast taming competition, began. When everyone saw Yun Chuzhou jumping up again, everyone was dumbfounded. What? Yun Chuzhou actually still wanted to participate in the beast taming competition? It was already abnormal enough that she knew how to refine pills and talismans, but she also knew how to taming beasts. Si Tushar wished that he could go up and pull Yun Chujio down. For some reason, when he saw Yun Chujio, his heart panicked and he could only comfort himself. This Yun Chujio must have gone up to make up the numbers, she definitely didn't know how to taming beasts. Humph, it did not matter even if she knew how to tame beasts. This time, among the contestants they sent out, there was Li Han, the grandson of the most famous beast master in the netherworld continent, Li Qianren. Moreover, this time's topic, Humph, no one in your Tian Yuan Academy could complete it. The host saw that the contestants and judges were already in position, and announced the rules of the competition. The rules of the competition were very simple. Whoever first established a spiritual connection with the target demon beast and successfully controlled it would be the winner. During the competition, it was strictly prohibited to use drugs such as the bewitching beast powder. Once it was discovered, the results of the competition would be cancelled. After the host announced the rules of the competition, he signaled the staff to bring the cage of the demon beast up. A moment later, dozens of staff brought a huge cage onto the competition stage. The cage was covered with a black cloth. Everyone was extremely curious. What kind of demon beast was inside? When the black cloth was pulled down, everyone was shocked. Inside the cage was a level 24 Lai Yen red-tailed fox. Oh my god, am I seeing things? This is Lai Yen red-tailed fox. This is a level 24 demon beast. How can it be successfully controlled? The highest level of spiritual power of the students on the stage was only at the 7th level of the Spirit Saint realm. This level 24 Lai Yen red-tailed fox was equivalent to a cultivator at the 9th level of the Spirit Saint realm. Weren't beast tamers only able to control demon beasts with lower spiritual power than themselves? Yeah, who came up with this question? Are you out of your mind? Someone from the Netherworld continent said smugly, TSK. No one from your Tian Yuan Academy can complete it, but someone from our Netherworld Academy can. That's right. Li Han from our Netherworld Academy is the grandson of Beast Tamer Master Li Qianren. He has had extraordinary Beast Tamer talent since he was young. The most important thing is that he can even control beasts of a higher level. Although your Tian Yuan Academy managed to equalize the score with dog shit, luck, and luck, you will still lose this beast taming competition. The people of the Tian Yuan continent were at a loss. Why was this question designed by the Nether Academy? The Tian Yuan Academy agreed to it. Were they stupid? Actually, they had really misunderstood. The questions of refining weapons and pills were created by the Tian Yuan Academy. The Nether Academy had used the excuse that they were guests to design 3 questions: Array Formation, Talisman Seal, and Beast Taming. Chapter 1444 The Art of Seduction. Those contestants on the stage to see the cage inside the Lai Yen red-tailed fox also exclaimed, this is simply no way to complete it. Lai Yen red-tailed fox spiritual power than our own spiritual power is a level higher, how can control success? Only Li Han from the Netherworld Academy had a hint of pride in his eyes. HMPH, of course, none of you will succeed. Only I will be able to control it successfully. Even though I have chosen this fiery red-tailed seductive fox, it will still be quite difficult for me to control it. Lai Yen, 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 Lai Yen. However, this was the only way to ensure that none of you would succeed. At this moment, the host announced, let the competition begin. The 10 contestants approached the cage that contained the fiery red-tailed fox. The fiery red-tailed fox in the cage let out a few frustrated roars. Then, it gave them a contemptuous glance. A trace of craftiness flashed across its glassy eyes. Suddenly, there was silence. The contestants saw that the Lai Yen red-tailed fox had quieted down. They felt that this was the best opportunity to establish a spiritual sense connection with it, so one by one, they began to try to establish a spiritual sense connection with it. When the contestants were concentrating on trying to communicate with the Lai Yen red-tailed fox with spiritual sense, they felt a little dizzy. The people below the competition stage were stupefied to see that the contestants on the stage had gone crazy. Ha ha ha. I am the #1 beast master in the Nether Academy. What bullshit, Li Han is just relying on his grandfather. I like Nangong Wu the most in our class. That figure is simply too fantastical. Fuck, the person I hate the most is Si Tushar. He only knows how to exploit us all day long. If we don't give him gifts, he will give us little shoes to wear. Bah! Mingzhu, do you know that I like you? Although I know that I am not worthy of you, I love you deeply in my heart. There were only 2 people on the stage who were still normal. One was Li Han, who was already prepared, and the other was Yun Chujio, who was chewing on the spiritual fruit. Everyone else was trying to establish a spiritual connection with Lai Yan's red-tailed fox, but this guy did not go over at all. Instead, he was sitting not far away and chewing on the spiritual fruit. Therefore, he was not affected by Lai Yan's seductive technique. Everyone below the stage immediately understood the reason for Lai Yan's madness. It seemed that they had been affected by Lai Yan's seduction technique. How could they control Lai Yan successfully? Although Si Tushar was annoyed by the students' nonsense, when he saw that Li Han was not affected by Lai Yan's seduction technique, he heaved a sigh of relief. Those people no longer had the chance to compete with Li Han for the first place would definitely belong to Li Han. As for Yun Chujio, who was eating the spirit fruit at the side, Si Tushar had already excluded her because he felt that Yun Chujio had not stepped forward for a long time and definitely did not know any beast taming techniques. Many people below the stage thought the same. They thought that Yun Chujio was quite smart and knew that she did not know any beast taming techniques, so she did not go near the fiery red-tailed fox to avoid making a fool of herself. The first place would sooner or later belong to Li Han of the Nether Academy. Dean Huangfu was also a little flustered. Little Nine had learned the beast controlling technique for a year and a half, but he heard that her results were just so. Could she control a fiery red-tailed fox that was so much higher than her spiritual power? At this time, Li Han had already begun to try to establish a spiritual connection with the fiery red-tailed fox. The fiery red-tailed fox once again used its claws to beat the cage impatiently, not cooperating at all. Lai Yan was the only one who could control the fiery red-tailed fox. Li Han's forehead began to sweat. This damned fiery red-tailed seductive fox. Previously, I had clearly successfully controlled other fiery red-tailed seductive foxes. Why can't I do it today? Lai Yan, Lai Yan, Lai Yan, Lai Yan, Lai Yan, Lai Yan. Chapter 1445, Li Han's secret technique. What Li Han didn't know was that although this fiery red-tailed fox was at level 24, it was actually about to break through to level 25. Therefore, it wouldn't be so easy for Li Han to establish a spiritual connection with Lai Yan. Time passed quickly. The 8 contestants gradually woke up and realized that they had been bewitched by the fiery red-tailed fox's seduction technique. They were instantly embarrassed and could only try to establish a spiritual connection with the fiery red-tailed fox again. Lai Yan's seductive fox looked at them with disdain and used the seductive technique again. This time, the 8 people were on guard and did not fall for it easily. However, they were constantly distracted, so it was naturally impossible for them to successfully establish a spiritual connection. As for Yun Chujio, she was still sitting leisurely at the side as if nothing had happened. She was even more leisurely than those referees. Everyone was already powerless to complain. Forget it, Yun Chujio had already helped them get 2 first places. She could just make trouble in this beast-taming competition. After all, if it were someone else, it would be useless. A full 2 hours had passed, but Li Han still had not succeeded in establishing a spiritual connection with Lai Yan's red-tailed fox. He gritted his teeth. It seemed that he could only use the Li family's secret technique. Li Han bit the index finger on his right hand and began to chant, "My blood, in exchange for your soul." A blood bead on Li Han's right index finger began to condense and rushed towards Lai Yan's forehead. Lai Yan wanted to avoid the blood bead, but there was limited space in the cage, and the blood bead was extremely fast. The blood bead directly entered Lai Yan's forehead. Li Han's heart is a joy, success. With my blood essence mark, I will be able to successfully establish a spiritual connection with it. Li Han once again tried to establish a spiritual connection with the fiery red-tailed seductive fox. Although the fiery red-tailed seductive fox was affected by the drop of blood, it still beat the cage impatiently, not wanting to give in to Lai Yan. Li Han tried for an hour, but the red-tailed fox still refused to give in. He gritted his teeth, broke his index finger again, and began to chant, "My blood for your soul." Lai Yan's voice was hoarse. Li Han was still chanting with his eyes closed, but he did not expect that just as the blood rose into the air and entered the cage, it was destroyed by a spiritual fruit core. Li Han realized that something was wrong. He opened his eyes and looked at the fruit core on the ground. He was stunned at first, then he realized that this was Yun Chujia's doing. He angrily asked, "Yun Chujio, why did you use the fruit core to interrupt my secret technique?" Yun Chujio blinked her eyes innocently. "Interrupt your secret technique? I didn't do it on purpose. I just casually threw it away. It was purely a coincidence." "Continue. This time, I promise I won't disturb you." Li Han snorted coldly. He thought that the competition was more important. He would teach this stupid girl a lesson in the future. Thus, Li Han squeezed out another drop of blood and began to chant with his eyes closed. When the blood rose, another fruit core was thrown over. The blood bead dissipated again. I'm really sorry. This fruit core probably likes that direction. It just so happened that it scattered your blood again. I'm really sorry. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Li Han gritted his teeth. Yun Chujio, you did it on purpose. Judges, Yun Chujio interrupted my secret technique twice. Please make the decision for me. One of the judges with an aquiline nose said unhappily, Yun Chujio, if you interrupt Li Han's secret technique again, you will be disqualified. Yun Chujio spread her hands. Didn't you say that you are not allowed to use medicine? Why can Mao Li Han use secret techniques? Maybe there is something bad in his blood. Maybe that Li Han ate dozens of kilograms of beastly powder last night. Chapter 1446, Drain a Basin of Blood. Li Han almost fainted from Yun Chujia's anger. A few dozen caddies of bewitching beast powder. What do you take me for? I am a fucking demonic beast. If I swallow a few dozen caddies of bewitching beast powder, I will also die. The other 4 contestants from Tianyuan Academy heard Yun Chujia's words and also said one after another, that's right. Maybe he had taken some medicine beforehand and then said it was some secret technique. Humph, the people from Netherworld Academy are indeed treacherous. Fortunately, Junior Yun is smart, or else she would be fooled by you again. Since we are not allowed to use medicine, this Li Han is also not allowed to use secret techniques, or else it would be unfair to us. The people from the Tianyuan continent also jeered, that's right. There must be something wrong with that Li Han's blood. Your Netherworld continent is best at cheating. That Li Han using secret techniques is cheating. He should be disqualified from the competition. Si Tushar was so angry that he gritted his teeth. This damn Yun Chujio was really too good at stirring up trouble. The judge with the hooked nose sneered, shut up. You guys are really ignorant. It has been a long time since a beast master used a secret technique. The blood essence of the beast master entered the demon beast's divine sense, which made it easier to establish a divine sense connection. How could there be such a thing as cheating? Everyone, tell me, does this secret technique count as cheating? The hooked nose asked the other 9 referees. Although there were people from the Tianyuan continent among the 9 referees, they could not lie openly. This beast tamer's secret technique really could not be considered cheating. Yun Chuzhou saw their expressions and knew what they meant. She rolled her eyes and said, even if the secret technique is not considered cheating, we still have to check if there are any prohibited drugs in Li Han's blood to convince everyone. How about this, Li Han, you put a basin of blood for the judges to check. If there are no prohibited drugs in it, then you can use the secret technique. A basin of blood? Li Han's eyes were red with anger. Are you going to test my blood or kill me? In the end, Li Han still put out a few drops of blood. After the judges checked it, they proved that there were no prohibited drugs such as bewitching powder in his blood and he could continue to use the secret technique. Humph! Yun Chuzhou, although you are very cunning, the first place of beast taming will definitely belong to me, Li Han. After Li Han finished speaking, he squeezed out another drop of blood and began to chant. He had just said one word when he heard Yun Chuzhius roar. It scared him so much that he opened his eyes. The chant was interrupted, and the drop of blood fell to the ground. Judge! Yun Chuzhou has repeatedly interrupted me. Please disqualify her from the competition. Li Han really wanted to go up and strangle Yun Chuzhou to death. This damn brat must have done it on purpose. The hawk-nosed referee immediately said angrily, that's right. This Yun Chuzhou interrupted Li Han's use of a secret skill for no reason. She should be expelled. Yun Chuzhou said with a grievance, I didn't interrupt Li Han for no reason. I want to ask one thing for everyone. Since Li Han can use a secret skill, then can we also use it? If we use it, it's not against the rules, right? The hooked nose said disdainfully, there are very few beast masters' secret techniques passed down, and you still know the secret technique? Humph, if you know it, just use it. However, if you interrupt Li Han's secret technique again, you will be disqualified from the competition. Don't worry, don't worry. I still have to use my secret technique quickly. How can I have the time to interrupt his secret technique? Everyone, please take a look. Our Yun family's secret beast taming technique, which has been passed down for millions of years, is not easily seen by outsiders. Today, you will be lucky to see it. Yun Chuzhou said smugly. Chapter 1447 Yun Chuzhius Beast Taming Secret Technique. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched violently. You really dare to brag. There is a limit to bragging, okay? It has been passed down for millions of years. Millions of years ago, forget about beast taming techniques, there probably wasn't anyone. Li Han also scoffed at Yun Chuzhius' words. He glared at Yun Chuzhou and once again squeezed out a drop of blood, preparing to chant. At this moment, Yun Chuzhou said loudly, Little fox, come here, come to me. I have chicken drumsticks here. As long as you obediently establish a spiritual connection with me, this roasted chicken drumstick in my hand will be yours. Li Han was stunned by Yun Chuzhius' actions and forgot to chant. Damn, he had wasted another drop of blood essence. Everyone was also shocked by Yun Chuzhius' actions. Damn, was this the secret technique that she had been talking about for millions of years? What the hell are you playing at? Do you think this flaming red-tailed fox is an ordinary fox? Lai Yan thought. A chicken leg can be bribed? What a fantasy. The flaming red-tailed fox glanced at Yun Chuzhou with disdain. Is this little girl sick? She was very sick. Although the drumstick was quite fragrant, how could this fox abandon her integrity for a drumstick? In her dreams. Yun Chuzhou was still mumbling, this is not an ordinary drumstick. This roasted drumstick was obtained with great difficulty. You don't know that the old ding of our canteen has a very strange temper. I spent a lot of effort to get a few roasted drumsticks. How could it be easy for me? Yun Chujia's mouth was dry as she spoke, but the flaming red-tailed fox was also unmoved. Yun Chujio stomped her feet. Damn it. If you don't want to eat it, then forget it. I'll eat it myself. After this fellow finished speaking, he picked up the roasted chicken drumstick and began to eat it. As he ate, he said, "Hey, Li Han, don't you have a secret technique? Why aren't you using it? Did you see the secret technique I used and feel ashamed to use your secret technique?" Li Han felt a chill down his spine. I feel ashamed to use your secret technique? You were the one who interrupted my secret technique, okay? This stupid girl was really too despicable. Li Han forced himself to calm down. After he collected his thoughts, he squeezed out another drop of blood, then closed his eyes and began to chant, "With my blood." Li Han had just finished chanting when he heard Yun Chujia's roar. He was so scared that he forgot the rest of the words. "Hey! Little fox. It seems that I have to use another secret technique passed down from my ancestors. This time, I will definitely make you obediently establish a spiritual connection with me." Yun Chujio stomped her feet and shook her head as she said. Li Han understood. This guy did it on purpose. She just wanted to interrupt his secret technique. Referee, you all saw it. This Yun Chujio doesn't know any secret technique at all. She is just deliberately causing trouble. I beg you to disqualify her from the competition. Li Han said angrily. Yun Chujio placed her hands on her hips, she pointed at Li Han's nose and scolded, "Which eye of yours saw that I don't know any secret techniques? What I used just now was clearly a secret technique that has been passed down in our Yun family for millions of years. How could I allow you to fail and not allow me to fail? Why did I interrupt your secret technique when I was speaking? Are you blaming me for your own lack of concentration? According to your logic, wouldn't it mean that when you were taming the beast would have to be obedient and not be able to make a sound? You are a waste, yet you still blame others. How shameless." Li Han's face was flushed red from Yun Chujia's rebuke. You are twisting logic. I have never heard of using a chicken drumstick to successfully taming the beast. You are deliberately causing trouble. Yun Chujio bared her teeth. One chicken leg is naturally not enough, but two might not be enough. Chapter 1448, The Weak and Tender Soul. Even if you had 8 chicken legs, you would not be able to successfully tame a beast. Judge, I request to expel Yun Chujio. She has repeatedly interrupted my secret technique, it is really too much. Li Han felt his head buzzing, he did not know whether he was angered by Yun Chujio or he had lost a little too much blood. The hawk-nosed judge was about to speak, Yun Chujio said angrily, "Referee. Li Han insulted my ancestral secret technique. He had broken my weak and tender heart into 108 pieces. Moreover, I was using my secret technique. I was about to succeed, but he interrupted my secret technique. I request that he be expelled from the stage." Li Han was stunned. The other contestants were stunned. The host and the referee were stunned. Everyone below the stage was stunned. Fuck. There was no one else who could be so shameless. You used a broken chicken drumstick to fool me and that was your ancestral secret technique? Aren't you shameless? Besides, is your indestructible heart still weak? Still immature? Who are you lying to? The hawk-nosed referee snorted. You don't need to quibble anymore. You have been disqualified from the competition. Leave immediately. Yun Chujia's little face darkened. This referee, you have to live up to your conscience and your identity as a referee. What right do you have to disqualify me from the competition? Host, let me ask you. When you announced the rules, did you forbid the contestants from speaking? The host shook his head. No. Did you hear that? Since the rules did not forbid the contestants from speaking, what's wrong with me speaking? Besides, when I was using my ancestral secret technique, Li Han even interrupted me. Why didn't you send him out? If you want to punish me, that's fine too. But you have to treat everyone equally and send Li Han out as well. Otherwise, not only am I not convinced, but everyone in the Tianyuan continent is also not convinced. Don't you think so? Yun Chujiu waved her hand at the people below the competition stage. The people from the Tianyuan continent immediately started to clamor. Right. Yun Chujiu is right. She didn't say that she wouldn't be allowed to speak, so what right do you have to punish Yun Chujiu? Don't tell me that when you are fighting with the demon beasts, you don't even allow the demon beasts to call out. Pooey. I think this judge must have taken money from the Netherworld Academy. How shameless. The eagle-nosed judge was so angry that his face turned red. He pointed at Yun Chujiu and said, what did I do? Besides, there are 10 referees in total. Why are you the only one who owes me so much? You don't even believe that you confiscated the benefits from the Netherworld Academy, do you? Judges of justice, am I right? Since the rules don't prohibit me from speaking, what's wrong with me speaking? Yun Chujiu said with the eagle-nosed referee. She looked at the other 9 referees who were dumbfounded. The other 9 referees discussed with each other. Indeed, the rules did not prohibit one from speaking. Thus, an older referee said, since there are no restrictions in the rules, the competition will continue. Yun Chujiu looked at Li Han proudly. Li Han, the attitude of this beast tamer is very crucial. You can't be impatient. Let me give you a good suggestion. If you really feel that my words are disturbing you, you might as well use something to cover your ears. Li Han only felt his head buzzing. He glared fiercely at Yun Chujiu. Do you think that you can disturb me with this method? The first place will definitely be mine. TSK, your name is Li Han, not awesome. Do you really think that you are so amazing? Tui. Unless that little fox is out of her mind, she would not establish a spiritual connection with you. What the heck? Yun Chujiu pouted and said. Chapter 1449 had been successfully controlled. Li Han gritted his teeth. He knew that he was no match for Yun Chujiu. He glared at her and walked to the cage, ready to continue using the secret technique. The flaming red-tailed fox was very intelligent. It knew that once Li Han successfully used the secret technique, it would not be able to resist. Therefore, it took advantage of the fact that Li Han had not used the secret technique and used the seductive technique on Li Han. Lai Yan knew that the flaming red-tailed fox would not be able to resist. Li Han was very angry with Yun Chujiu. He did not expect the flaming red-tailed seductive fox to take advantage of the situation. Moreover, he had lost a lot of blood and was very angry with Yun Chujiu. His spiritual sense was a little unstable, so he fell into Lai Yan's trap. The first place is mine. You trash are not even qualified to carry my shoes. Our Li family's beast-taming technique is the best in the world. None of you are good at it. If it were not for my grandfather who insisted that I go to some Netherworld Academy, I would not have come. The teacher who taught me is not as powerful as me. Do you know why you chose this fiery red-tailed fox? Because your spiritual power is low, and none of you can successfully control it, only I can. Lai Yan said with a smile. Si Tushar was so angry that he almost passed out. At that time, he had said that it wasn't safe to choose the fiery red-tailed fox because although this fiery red-tailed fox was locked in a specially made cage and couldn't shoot fireballs, the charm technique could still be used. Lai Yan, this trash, said that it was no problem, but now. He had said everything, it was simply too embarrassing. Yun Chujiu saw that Li Han was in a daze after talking crazily. This guy rolled his eyes. This was a good opportunity. She had to take advantage of the time when he was not awake to trick this silly fox into her hands. Yun Chujio held the chicken leg that was more than half eaten in her hand and walked to the side of the cage. As she chewed on the chicken leg, she said, "Little fox, let me tell you a story." The flaming red-tailed fox looked at Yun Chujio with disdain. However, it felt that Yun Chujio had tortured Li Han enough, so it did not hate her so much. Therefore, it did not use the charm on Yun Chujio. The crow made a nest on the big tree. There was a hole under the big tree, and the fox lived in the hole. One day, the crow flew out to find food for her child. She found a piece of meat and brought it back. Yun Chujio smiled and began to tell the story of the crow and the fox to the flaming red-tailed seductive fox, Lai Yan. The rest of the people on the stage were dumbfounded, and the people below the stage were also at a loss. Could it be that Yun Chujio had also been bewitched? Are you crazy? What kind of story are you telling to a demon beast? This is not even as reliable as using roasted chicken drumsticks to hook up with a demon beast. The people of the Netherworld continent originally felt very embarrassed when they saw Li Han go crazy. Now that they saw Yun Chujio acting like this, they naturally would not let go of the opportunity to take revenge. They immediately laughed out loud. "Is there something wrong with your Tian Yuan continent's Yun Chujio's head?" She even told a story to Lai Yan's red-tailed fox. She can't possibly think that she can control Lai Yan's red-tailed fox just by telling a story, right? That's right, what a whimsical idea. Does she think that Lai Yan's red-tailed fox is a child? If she can control a demon beast just like that, why would she learn how to control a demon beast? The people of Tian Yuan continent really wanted to defend Yun Chujio, but how should they explain it? Could it be that Yun Chujio could subdue a demon beast just by telling a story? Not to mention the people of the Netherworld continent, even they themselves did not believe it. At this moment, someone shouted, "Quick! Quick! Look! Yun Chujio, it's done." "What's done? Are you crazy too?" The person next to him cursed. Then, he looked at the stage and immediately shouted, "It's done. It's really done. Yun Chujio really succeeded." Chapter 1450. Even if you are not convinced, you have to be convinced. Everyone looked at the scene on the stage in disbelief. They saw that the flaming red-tailed seductive fox was extremely well-behaved and was listening to Yun Chujio's words as it made its move. Lai Yan's eyes were filled with disbelief. "Come, little fox, raise your claws to greet everyone." Tears were streaming down the flaming red-tailed seductive fox's face. It waved its claws at the people below the stage. Fuck, the fox had lost all its face. The people below the stage exploded. The people from the Tian Yuan continent were so proud of themselves, they said arrogantly to the people from the Netherworld continent, TSK, we, Yun Chujio, are indeed powerful. So what if she told a story? She successfully controlled Lai Yan's red-tailed seductive fox by telling a story. Are you convinced? Even if you're not convinced, you have to be convinced. The first place is ours. Ha ha ha. Not only does this round's victory belong to us, the first round's competition is 3-2. We won. The first round's victory is also ours. Winning first doesn't count as winning. Our refining and array formations are giving way to you. Otherwise, can you win? Tomorrow, in the second round of the spiritual energy competition, you will still lose. The people of the Netherworld continent felt as if their hearts were bleeding. Damn it, they were still rejoicing at this time yesterday. Why did their mood fall into hell in just one day? Yun Chujio. It was all caused by that smelly girl, Yun Chujio. She had obtained first place in all 3 rounds of the competition. Speaking of alchemy and talismans, we could still see some tricks. She won by relying on transcendent-grade elixirs and transcendent-grade talismans. It was just that this beast taming, how could she muddle-headedly tell such a stupid story? How could that damned flaming red-tailed fox Lai Yan? How could you not have heard a story for hundreds of years? How could you be so cheap? At this time, Li Han woke up. He saw that the flaming red-tailed seductive fox obediently listened to Yun Chujia's command. Immediately, he cried out in surprise, "Impossible! Impossible! Yun Chujio must have used a forbidden medicine. Otherwise, the flaming red-tailed seductive fox would not have been successfully controlled by Lai Yan." Li Han's words immediately aroused the resonance of the netherworld. Yes. Yun Chujio must have used some shady means. She must have used the beast to disperse it. Or she must have used some other forbidden drug. Otherwise, how could she, a 5th-level spirit master, control a 24th-level demon beast successfully? This doesn't make sense. Yun Chujio must have cheated. Her grades don't count. Yun Chujio glanced at Li Han. TSK, after you people from the Netherworld Academy lost, wouldn't the first thing you say is that the winner cheated? Previously, your Dean Situ had publicly apologized to me for saying that I cheated. Now you're saying that I cheated again. If the judge decides that I didn't cheat, shouldn't you kneel in front of me and apologize? Yun Chujio, stop changing the topic. Not only do I suspect you of cheating, everyone else suspects you of cheating. It's impossible for you to successfully control the flaming red-tailed seductive fox. You must have cheated. Li Han said angrily. The hook-nosed judge immediately echoed, "That's right, I also suspect you of cheating." Yun Chujio snorted coldly, "You also suspect me of cheating? Just based on suspicion, you can spout nonsense. I even suspect that you're not human. Don't tell me that you're not human. You! How dare you!" Hawk-Nosed could not contain his anger. He actually wanted to hit Yun Chujio. The other 9 judges could not stand it anymore. The competition had turned into a farce. What kind of nonsense was this? One of the judges said, "Whether Yun Chujio cheated or not is actually very easy to judge. Just ask this flaming red-tailed seductive fox directly." Lai Yan's eyes were filled with anger. Chapter 1451. Was there anything wrong with her beauty? The spiritual power of these judges were all at the spiritual venerable level, so it was relatively easy for them to establish a spiritual connection with Lai Yan. After one of the judges established a spiritual connection with Lai Yan, he asked directly, "Did Yun Chujio use any illegal drugs to harm you?" The crowd only heard Lai Yan roar a few times, and then the judge looked like he was about to say something. Li Han immediately said loudly, "The fiery red-tailed seductive fox must have admitted it, right? I already said that it was impossible for Yun Chujio to successfully control it. She must have used some unspeakable method. She is cheating. Her first place doesn't count." The people of the Netherworld continent also started to clamor, "Right. Yun Chujio must have cheated. Cancel her competition results. Let's compete again. Humph, is it exposed? I told you that you can control demonic beasts even by telling stories, unless the demonic beasts are crazy. If we compete again, the first place will definitely go to Li Han." Although the people of the Tianyuan continent were also fiercely arguing with them, they were not sure what Lai Yan had said. The judge was so shocked. Could it be that Yun Chujio really used some tricks? Just as everyone was guessing, the eagle-nosed judge asked the judge impatiently, "What did the fiery red-tailed fox say? Did Yun Chujio use the Lai Yan powder or some other forbidden item?" The judge said with a stiff face, "The fiery red-tailed fox said that it thought Yun Chujio was as beautiful as a fairy, and it was kind enough to tell it a story. It was willing to be controlled by Yun Chujio." What the hell was that? Now, the demon beast was judging people by their appearance. Was it kind enough to tell you a story? What? That's impossible. I don't believe it. The hawk-nosed judge said with a stomp. The judge said with an unhappy face, "Do you think I'm lying? Good. I'll prove it to you now." Lai Yan's red-tailed fox, is what I said true? If it's true, you can roar once. If what I said is false, you can roar twice. Lai Yan red-tailed fox roared impatiently. These humans are really troublesome. Let's hurry up and let that little girl get first place. She has the nine-tailed fox's bone on her body. She has promised me that as long as she gets first place, she will give me the bone. It turned out that while Yun Chujio was telling the story, she had secretly taken out a very small nine-tailed fox's bone from her storage ring. As she was holding a drumstick in her hand, no one had noticed, however, the Lai Yan red-tailed fox had smelled the nine-tailed fox's scent. It was immediately overjoyed. If I had the nine-tailed fox's bone, it would be of great benefit to me. Immediately, the Lai Yan red-tailed fox established a spiritual connection with Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio told it that if she won first place, she would give it the small piece of the nine-tailed fox's bones. That was why it was willing to be manipulated by Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Did you all hear that? The little fox is willing to be controlled by me because of my beauty and kindness. Is it a mistake to be beautiful? Everyone. Even though the Aquiline Nose and Li Han were extremely unwilling, with the proof of the Lai Yan red-tailed fox, they were helpless, they could only let the host announce the results of the competition. In the beast taming competition, Tian Yuan Academy's Yun Chujio wins. In the first stage of the competition, Tian Yuan Academy won 3-2. Chapter 1452 Gold was going to shine sooner or later. The people of the Tian Yuan continent immediately cheered. At this time yesterday, they still felt that their future was bleak. They did not expect to obtain the final victory today. This feeling was really great. Of course, they knew that all of this was because of one person, a little girl that they did not think much of, Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio walked to the side of the cage with a smile. TSK, little fox, it's rare for you to be so honest. I'll reward you with a roasted chicken. Lai Yan immediately kept the roasted chicken into her storage space. The little girl had told me that the bones of the nine-tailed fox were inside the belly of the roasted chicken. Only then did Yun Chujio terminate the temporary contract with Lai Yan and jumped off the stage. What greeted her was a tsunami of praise and gratitude. This fellow still pretended to be modest and said a few words, then, she hopped back to the stands of the Tian Yuan Academy. As the sky was already dark, the host announced that the second phase of the spirit power competition would be held on the second day. When everyone heard that, they all dispersed and returned to their respective stations to rest. Yun Chujio was now the focus of attention wherever she went. Those mighty figures had been perfunctory towards her in the morning, giving face to Di Lin Han. But now, they were much more sincere. This little girl's talent in alchemy and talismans was top-notch, and her future was bound to be limitless. Befriending such an alchemist and talisman master would only bring benefits and no harm. Yin Sulian saw that Yun Chujio was being treated with such courtesy, and she was so angry that she gritted her teeth, her intestines turning green with regret. If she had not instigated Yun Chujio to participate in the alchemy competition, there would not have been any subsequent matters, and Yun Chujio would not have become famous so quickly. After dinner, Yun Chujio went to see Di Lin Han. As the temple master of the Temple of Immortals, Di Lin Han naturally had an imposing manner. Even in the wilderness, the place where he lived was very comfortable, and there were many hidden guards protecting him. After Yun Chujio saw Di Lin Han, she rambled on about what had happened in the Misty Valley. Di Lin Han was stunned when he heard that, and he sighed in his heart. Only a monster like Little Jiu could still come out after falling into such a predicament. If it was any other person, they would have been played to death by the Qi Ling. However, if it was anyone else, they would not have offended the Qi Ling. You had almost made the underground spirit mushroom extinct. No wonder the Qi Ling in the Misty Valley was angry. You were too greedy. Just as Di Lin Han was thinking about it, Yun Chujio took out a storage ring with a smile on her face. Uncle, I have some underground spirit mushrooms in this storage ring. You can take it back and stew the chicken to eat. The taste will definitely be very delicious. The corners of Di Linhan's eyes twitched violently. Stew the chicken. Earth spirit mushroom is such a precious spirit herb, and you want to use it to stew the chicken. Uncle, there are also some heaven-grade spirit herbs that the little skeleton took the initiative to give to me. Take it back and give it to my aunt. Yun Chujio added. Di Linhan was extremely satisfied in his heart. Where could he find such a daughter-in-law? She was smart and quick-witted, and most importantly, she had a long face. She had forcefully used her own strength to save the Tian Yuan Academy, which had already lost to the edge of the cliff. Di Linhan instructed her with a pleasant expression on his face. It was nothing more than a good rest or something like that. After Yun Chujio thanked him, she hopped back to the Tian Yuan Academy's headquarters. When Yun Chujio returned to the Tian Yuan Academy's headquarters, she was naturally praised and flattered by everyone once again. Although this fellow appeared to be rather calm on the surface, he was actually overjoyed in his heart. Ha ha ha. Gold will shine sooner or later. From now on, I, Yun Chujio, will shine brilliantly in the Tian Yuan continent. Chapter 1453, Sheng Envy's request. The Hades Academy's encampment was in stark contrast to the Tianyuan Academy's encampment. It was eerily silent. The originally good situation had been ruined by Yun Chujio alone. Not only had she lost the competition, but she had also embarrassed herself. It was simply a great humiliation. In Vice Palace Master Liu's tent, Si Tushar stood with his hands down. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, but he did not dare to wipe it off, afraid that Vice Palace Master Lu would blame him. Vice Palace Master Lu, this matter was supposed to be foolproof. I never thought that Yun Chujio would appear out of nowhere. Didn't you say that she died in the Misty Valley? Vice Palace Master Lu snorted. Humph. Foolproof? Is this what you meant by foolproof? Yun Chujio was just a little girl in her teens, and she actually destroyed your so-called plan by herself. Is she too smart or are you too stupid? This little girl is really too strange. I really didn't think that she had such a high talent in alchemy and talisman. As for beast taming, I didn't think that that damned flaming red-tailed seductive fox would be successfully controlled by her because of some kind of beauty or kindness. Lai Yen, don't worry. Don't worry, I promise you that we will definitely win tomorrow's spiritual power competition. There will definitely be no mistakes. Si Tushar said confidently. Humph. If we lose tomorrow's competition again, you know the consequences. Vice Palace Master Lu said darkly. Yes. Yes. I know. Si Tushar saw that this round had temporarily passed, so he took out a handkerchief to wipe the cold sweat on his forehead. At this time, there was a secret guard outside the big tent who asked to see him. Vice Palace Master Lu agreed and signaled for people to come in. After the secret guard came in, he saw Si Tushar hesitate for a moment. Vice Palace Master Lu said indifferently, "We're on the same side." "It's fine. Tell me, what's the matter?" Vice Palace Master Lu, the Saintess received a voice transmission talisman and said that the person was not feeling well again. The Saintess said that she wanted to return to the Netherworld Hall ahead of time. The secret guard reported back to Sheng Envy. Vice Palace Master Liu's face immediately darkened. Bitch. If it wasn't for... Humph. I would have killed her and that wild man long ago. As the Saintess of the Netherworld Hall, she actually found a wild man on her own. She really has no sense of shame. Si Tushar deliberated for a moment before trying to persuade him. Vice Palace Master Lu, please calm down. They have always been under your control. They will obediently submit to you sooner or later. It's been 11 years. I still haven't managed to get any useful clues out of them. If that bitch still doesn't want to tell me, I will kill that wild man. The saintess can also change to someone else. It's not that she has to do it. Vice Palace Master Lu said through gritted teeth. The bodyguard mustered up his courage and asked, Vice Palace Master Lu, then, does the saintess agree to Xing Envy's request or not? Vice Palace Master Lu was silent for a moment. For the time being, we can't completely fall out with her. Tell that bitch that she will leave after the competition starts tomorrow. Yes. Seeing that the bodyguard had left, Si Tushar advised, Vice Palace Master Lu, please calm down. Let alone the Netherworld Hall, even the Tian Yuan continent will be yours in the future. Why bother to lower yourself to that bitch's level? When Vice Palace Master Lu heard Si Tushi's words, his expression softened a little. We must not be careless in tomorrow's competition. We must win no matter what. Otherwise, we will lose both stages of the competition. It will really be a huge blow to our morale. Si Tushar immediately swore a promise. Don't worry. Tomorrow's competition will definitely be flawless. Our Netherworld Palace will definitely win. Chapter 1454, The second round of the competition began early the next morning. Everyone had already gathered under the competition stage. Compared to the 5 arts competition of the cultivators 2 days ago, they were more interested in today's spiritual power competition. A real battle was much more interesting than the 5 arts competition of the cultivators. Yun Chujio, this fellow, was not going to participate in the competition today. After all, she had already been in the limelight yesterday. Moreover, she had to give others a chance to show off, right? This fellow had a big heart. As he had chatted with Di Biming using the voice transmission talisman too late last night, he was yawning non-stop. Thus, he directly took out his all-purpose tent from the corner of the competition stage and lay down to sleep. In any case, the surroundings were filled with the students of the Tianyuan Academy, so he wasn't afraid of anyone scheming against him. The host quickly announced the rules of the competition. Today's competition is divided into 10 rounds. 2-on-2 battles. Both parties are not allowed to use external forces such as talismans, poison pills, formations, spirit pets, and so on. They can only rely on their movement techniques and spiritual energy to fight. If one side concedes or is forced off the stage, it will be judged as a loss. Now, the competition officially begins. Please welcome the 2 contestants who will participate in the first round. Tianyuan Academy had sent a male student named Zhan Yu. He was at the 7th level of the spiritual saint realm. Such a level of spiritual power was considered one of the best in Tianyuan Academy. However, when everyone saw Netherworld Academy's contestant, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Their contestant was actually at the 3rd level of the spiritual venerable realm. The people of the Tianyuan continent were instantly in an uproar. 3rd level spirit paragon. How can a student have such a high level of spirit energy? Netherworld Academy is clearly cheating. That's right, our student is only at the 7th level of the spirit saint realm. How can he possibly defeat a 3rd level spirit paragon? Looks like we'll definitely lose this round. However, it's a good thing that Netherworld Academy can't send out all 3rd level spirit paragons. It doesn't matter if we lose one round. Dean Huanfu immediately protested, Dean Situ, the contestants on the stage are students of your Netherworld Academy. I'm afraid only instructors have such high spirit energy, right? Situ Shur said with a fake smile, Dean Huanfu, I'm really sorry. Jiao Long is really a student of our Netherworld Academy, and he has already been studying in our academy for 4 years. If I lie about this, he'll be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Dean Huanfu saw that Si Tushar had already said so much, so he couldn't say anything more. Forget it, if worst comes to worst, he would just lose this round. After all, there were still 9 rounds left. Si Tushar was pleased in his heart. HMPH, I have already planned this round for 4 years. Huangfu Zhonghen, the good show has just begun. I will return the humiliation I suffered yesterday to you today. Jia Long, who was on the stage, sized up Zhan Yu and curled his lips. Admit defeat. You're no match for me. Although Zhan Yu knew that his spiritual power was not as high as Jia Long's, it was impossible for him to retreat without a fight. He said coldly, whether it works or not, let's fight first. Take this. Zhan Yu took the lead and attacked Jia Long with his spiritual power. A fierce tiger materialized from spiritual power charged straight at Jia Long. Jia Long snorted coldly and formed a seal with his hands. A thick and strong spiritual power python pounced on Zhan Yu's spiritual power tiger. When everyone saw the spiritual power beasts of the two people, they knew that Zhan Yu was bound to lose. This was because Jia Long's spiritual power beast was much stronger than Zhan Yu's, regardless of its size or degree of condensation. Moreover, that spiritual power python's eyes were lively, it was obvious that it already had an initial intelligence. As expected, the spirit python bit off the spirit tiger's head with one bite, and the spirit tiger dissipated. Chapter 1455, Crushing Zhan Yu hurriedly released another spirit tiger, but it was still easily dispersed by the spirit python. Moreover, the spirit python had already pounced in front of Zhan Yu, and Zhan Yu dodged the attack of the spirit python, the two of them tangled together. In less than half an hour, Zhan Yu was completely at a disadvantage, being forced back repeatedly by Jia Long. Zhan Yu's body was already drenched in sweat. He knew that he would definitely lose this match. He was no match for Jia Long at all. At this moment, Jia Long's spirit energy python pounced towards Zhan Yu once again. Zhan Yu retreated and fell directly off the stage. Fortunately, his reaction was still in time. He fell to the ground and staggered a few times, so he wasn't injured. Zhan Yu walked in front of Dean Huangfu in shame. Dean, I'm sorry. I lost. Dean Huangfu comforted him, it's okay. There's a big gap between you and that Jia Long's spiritual power. It's already good enough that you can hold on for so long. Don't blame yourself. Go back and rest. Zhan Yu was very touched when he heard that Dean Huangfu didn't blame him and even comforted him. He lowered his head and quietly returned to the stands. The students also comforted him. The difference in strength was obvious. It wasn't too shameful to lose. The host announced loudly, the first round of the spiritual power competition, the Netherworld Academy's Jia Long wins. The second round of the competition will now begin. After the host announced, the crowd realized that Jia Long had not left the stage. Instead, he continued to stay on the stage. The crowd was very puzzled. Why hadn't Jia Long left the stage? The crowd quickly understood the reason. That was because Jia Long said proudly, everyone, I'm really sorry. I feel that my physical strength is still okay, so I'm prepared to compete in a few more rounds. Therefore, I will still be representing the Netherworld Academy in the second round of the competition. The people of the Tian Yuan continent immediately understood what was going on. Fuck. The Nether Academy was too damn shameless. Were they planning to use Jia Long, this big killer weapon, to wipe out all of their competitors? If that was the case, wouldn't one of them be wiped out if they went up? The highest spiritual power of the students of the Tian Yuan Academy was only at the 8th level of the Spirit Saint realm. They were not a match for Jia Long at all. Dean Huangfu was extremely angry. Si Tushar, what do you mean by this? Si Tushar said with a fake smile, what do you mean? It meant what you saw. Those who are capable will have to work hard. You, Yun Chuzhou, can participate in the pill refining, talisman, and beast taming competitions. So what if we, Jia Long, play a few more rounds? We haven't complained about you taking turns to fight. Even though Dean Huangfu was extremely angry, the the rules did not forbid a person to participate in repeated battles. Even though he knew that this was Situshi's trick, he could do nothing about it. In the second round, Tian Yuan Academy's side was a spirit sect 7th level student. The result was obvious. In less than 15 minutes, Jiao Long kicked him off the stage. That student was immediately kicked until he vomited blood. He quickly consumed the hemostatic pill and meditated. Without a doubt, in the second round, Netherworld Academy won again. In the third round, it was still the same. Netherworld Academy won again. Dean Huanfu was extremely regretful that he had expelled Lan Luochen. If Lan Luochen was here, this Jiao Long would definitely not be his match. However, Lan Luochen had violated the rules of the academy and could only endure the pain of being expelled. Otherwise, he would not be able to convince the public. In the fourth round, Dean Huangfu had no choice but to send Yuan Wenhao, who had the highest level of spiritual power. Even so, Yuan Wenhao's 8th level of the Spirit Saint realm could not be compared to Jia Long's 3rd level of the Spirit Paragon realm. A quarter of an hour later, Yuan Wenhao was bitten on the left shoulder by Jia Long's spiritual python. Jia Long revealed a sinister smile and jumped forward to seal Yuan Wenhao's spiritual power. He actually kicked Yuan Wenhao's leg. He forced Yuan Wenhao to kneel on the competition stage. Chapter 1456 Divine Crossbow. Everyone, look. The students of Tianyuan Academy are kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. Since you are begging me so much, I will show my kindness and not take your life. Scram! Jia Long said as he kicked Yuan Wenhao's chest. Yuan Wenhao's spirit energy was restrained, so how could he withstand this kick? After being kicked off the competition stage, although he was caught by the crowd, he was still on the verge of death. Dean Huangfu hurriedly took out a high-grade healing pill and fed it to Yuan Wenhao. At least Yuan Wenhao's little life was saved, but he would need to recuperate for at least a year before he could recover. The people of the Tian Yuan continent were instantly enraged. This Jia Long was really too vicious. Since he had already won, why did he have to humiliate his opponent? Moreover, he even planned to kill his opponent. This was really too much. Jia Long curled his lips. The strong are always respected on the competition stage. If he is weak, then he shouldn't come up. Humph. Is there anyone from the Tianyuan Academy who still wants to come up and accept the challenge? If not, then we might as well just announce our Netherworld Academy's victory directly. Dean, I'll go up for this round. Dean Huangfu hesitated for a moment. Qin Mingzhu, that Jia Long's spiritual power level is much higher than yours. I'm afraid the result of you going up wouldn't be optimistic either. Dean, I was originally arranged to go up in this round. If I don't go up, won't I be ridiculed? Besides, I have a lot of spiritual weapons on me. Although I don't dare to say that I won, I can still destroy his prestige, Qin Mingzhu said proudly. As the eldest daughter of the Gui Yuan sect, she naturally had her pride. Dean Huangfu could only nod his head and remind her that victory or defeat didn't matter. She had to ensure her safety. After Qin Mingzhu agreed, she leaped onto the stage. After seeing Qin Mingzhu, Jia Long sized her up with a lustful look in his eyes. Little beauty, what's your name? Qin Mingzhu said coldly. Tian Yuan Academy. Qin Mingzhu, cut the crap. Take this. Qin Mingzhu. The eldest daughter of Gui Yuan sect. TSK, she's not bad looking. Why don't you follow me back to the Netherworld continent? I promise to make you feel comfortable. Jia Long began to tease Qin Mingzhu with his words. Qin Mingzhu was so angry that her face flushed red. Her spiritual power kept attacking Jia Long. Unfortunately, Jia Long's spiritual power was much higher than hers. Her spiritual power attacks could not hurt Jia Long at all. Jia Long was quite proud. Little beauty, I've been giving in to you just now. Now, I'm going to use my true ability. If you admit defeat now, I'll let you leave the stage unscathed on account of your pretty face. Otherwise, HMPH. Qin Mingzhu did not reply and continued to attack Jia Long. She wished that she could kill Jia Long in one go. As expected, Jia Long increased his spiritual power attacks. Qin Mingzhu could not hold on any longer. Fortunately, she had a defensive spiritual weapon on her. Although she was in danger, she would not be injured. Jia Long wanted to play with Qin Mingzhu, so he did not use his full strength. He laughed and said, "You do have a lot of defensive spiritual weapons on you, but you won't be able to hold on for long. Even if I tire you out, I'll tire you to death. Besides, activating a defensive spirit tool will exhaust your spiritual power. I see that your spiritual power has been exhausted. What are you going to do? It's better for you to admit defeat and I'll spare your life." Qin Mingzhu knew that Jia Long was right. She wouldn't be able to last long. "However, you're underestimating me too much." A fierce look flashed across Qin Mingzhu's eyes. She suddenly took out something from her storage ring and shot it at Jia Long. Qin Mingzhu gritted her teeth. "I don't believe that a divine crossbow machine won't take your dog life." Chapter 1457 had lost 5 rounds in a row. Jia Long was feeling proud when he suddenly saw a cold light coming towards him. He was so scared that he quickly dodged it. However, he was still half a step too late. The cold light directly pierced into his left shoulder. Jia Long screamed in pain. He lowered his head and saw that it was a crossbow arrow that had shot onto his left shoulder. Jia Long immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. "Bitch! Originally, I wanted to play with you. I didn't expect you to be so vicious." Qin Mingzhu still wanted to use the divine crossbow, but the divine crossbow could only fire 1 arrow at a time. There was no time to reload the crossbow. Jia Long flew into a rage out of humiliation. After pulling out the crossbow arrow, he attacked Qin Mingzhu with several streams of spiritual power. Qin Mingzhu's spiritual power was almost depleted, so how could she withstand Jia Long's fierce attacks? She was forced to retreat repeatedly. Qin Mingzhu knew that she would definitely lose this round. She gritted her teeth and directly jumped down from the competition stage. Although it was a little embarrassing, it was still better than being humiliated after being restrained by Jia Long. Jia Long saw that Qin Mingzhu took the initiative to jump down from the competition stage. He secretly hated her in his heart. "Bitch, if you didn't run fast, I would definitely capture you and humiliate you properly. It's a bargain for you." Jia Long took out a medicinal pill to stop the bleeding and swallowed it. Then, he arrogantly shouted, "I have already won 5 rounds in a row. Who else is going to come up and accept the challenge? If not, the host can directly announce our victory." "Humph. Your Tianyuan Academy still thinks that it's the best academy? Bah. Bullshit. A bunch of good-for-nothings. They aren't even qualified to carry shoes for our Netherworld Academy." The people of the Nether Continent also clamored, "TSK TSK, the 5 arts of cultivators yesterday were all secondary. They were all supplementary to the cultivation of spiritual energy. Only this spiritual energy competition is serious. The students of your Tianyuan Academy are really too good for nothings." That's right. One of them was defeated by another. They couldn't even defeat Jia Long in a round-robin battle. "I'm so embarrassed for you guys. In the future, don't call yourselves Tianyuan Academy anymore. Just change your name to Trash Academy, ha ha ha." The people on the Tianyuan continent were extremely furious. Although they knew that the Tianyuan Academy had been set up by someone and that Jia Long wasn't at the level of a normal student's spirit energy, no matter what, allowing the other party to win 5 rounds in a row. It was still too embarrassing. Dean Huangfu was angry and anxious. It was not impossible for him to lose, but to lose like this, it was really cowardly and embarrassing. Now, it was already 5-0. If he lost another round, then he would lose completely in the second stage of the competition. And it was a complete defeat. Yin Sulian's heart moved. Last time, when I instigated Yun Chujio to go on stage to compete, not only did she not lose face, but she also gained face. This time, if she went on stage again, she would definitely lose face. She might even be humiliated by Jia Long. Yes, this was the way. Yin Sulian walked to the edge of the stage, outside Yun Chujio's tent. Yun Chujio, if you are still alive, come out. Yun Chujio was sleeping soundly when Xiao He, the black rat, started to squeak beside her ear. Yun Chujio opened her eyes impatiently and walked out of the small tent. Yin Sulian, are you crazy? Didn't you say that you would never provoke me again? Why are you showing off again? Yun Chujio, our Tianyuan Academy is about to lose the second round of the competition, yet you are still sleeping here. You sure have a big heart. About to lose? Isn't it normal to lose and win in the competition? Yun Chujio was a little surprised, however, she didn't really care. Yesterday, Dean Huangfu and the others had already discussed it. Since they had already won the first round of the competition, it would be natural for them to win or lose in the second round. Of course we can lose, but all 5 of us lost to the same person. Moreover, that person even severely injured our contestant. Moreover, he even insulted the people of the Tianyuan Academy as trash. Aren't you the best? Are you just going to sit and watch? Yun Chujio, if this is the case, you are really ashamed of the title of the Tianyuan continent's Heaven's Pride. Yin Sulian said sarcastically. Chapter 1458 Yun Chujio stepped onto the stage again. Hearing Yin Sulian's words, Yun Chujio frowned and raised her head to look at the stage. Jia Long was spouting nonsense on the stage. Does anyone from your Tianyuan Academy still dare to come up and accept the challenge? Humph, I don't think any of you dare to come up either. If anyone else comes up, I won't show any mercy. Regardless of life or death on the stage, don't blame me if you lose your life at that time. Is there no one coming up? Host, since no one dares to come up, can we announce that I have won the 6th round as well? Jia Long said arrogantly. At this moment, a clear voice was heard from below the stage. Do you still have any sense of shame? Our Tianyuan Academy only let you guys win 5 rounds because we saw that your Netherworld Academy had lost 2 miserably yesterday. Do you really think that you are that great? A pig's nose is like a spring onion in a spring onion, acting. Jia Long and the others looked at the person who spoke. The person who spoke was a beautiful little girl. Who else could it be but Yun Chujio? Yun Chujio. You were in the limelight yesterday. Why? Do you want to come up and have a match with me? Humph. A trash of the 5th level of the spirit sect, do you dare to come up? Jia Long said with a pout. Why wouldn't I dare? However, wait for a while. I just woke up and am a little hungry. I need to eat something first. You also rest and rest, lest others say that I took advantage of your tiredness to bully you. Yun Chujio said proudly. When everyone heard Yun Chujio's words, they immediately exploded. Is Yun Chujio crazy? This competition does not allow the use of medicinal pills or talismans. She is only at the 5th level of the spirit sect. Wouldn't she be courting death by going up? Who says she isn't? Could it be that she's lost in her sleep? Besides, if you want to go up, then hurry up and go up. What are you going to eat when Jia Long's injuries haven't healed and he's still tired? Are you that hungry? Besides, what time is it? It's not even lunchtime yet. Dean Huangfu called Yun Chujio to the side. With a grave expression, he said, Yun Chujio, this Jia Long's methods are ruthless. Moreover, he's at the 3rd level of the spiritual venerable realm, and his spiritual power is much higher than yours. It's better if you don't go up. If you lose in the second stage, then so be it. Dean, don't worry. Although I don't have absolute confidence in winning, I can still guarantee that I won't get hurt. You just wait and see. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Dean Huanfu knew that although Yun Chuzhou was temperamental, she was still able to handle important matters. Therefore, seeing that she was determined, he could only remind her to be careful. Jia Long waited for an hour, but Yun Chuzhou still didn't come up. He looked at the stands of Tianyuan Academy impatiently, and he almost fainted when he saw the scene. He only saw Yun Chuzhou happily enjoying the hot pot. Yun Chuzhou, are you still going to compete? I've been waiting for you for an hour. Jia Long roared angrily. Yun Chuzhou raised her head and looked at him. Why don't you know how to appreciate a good person's kindness? Didn't I give you time to rest and treat your injuries? There are very few kind people like me, and I'm probably the only one you'll meet in your life. You have to cherish it. Jia Long snorted coldly. That's a nice way of saying it. Don't tell me you've changed your mind and don't dare to come up. I'll give you another 15 minutes. If you still don't come up, then I'll win this round without a fight. Sigh. I've never seen someone so eager to die. Alright, since you want to die so badly, don't wait for another 15 minutes. I'll go up and send you on your way. Yun Chuzhou sighed. She jumped onto the stage lightly. Chapter 1459 Invincible Little Piggy Tusher saw that Yun Chuzhou had finally stepped onto the competition stage, and only then did his heart relax. He had originally thought that this smelly girl was trying to deceive him, but he didn't expect that she had really stepped onto the stage. Going up was good. It was just the right time for Jia Long to kill this smelly girl. Yun Chuzhou, if you immediately kneel down and admit defeat to me, I can consider sparing you. Otherwise, if we fight, if I accidentally kill you, you won't have any place to cry. Jia Long said viciously. This is what I wanted to say to you. Oh right, what's your name? Yun Chuzhou asked with a smile. Jia Long. Yun Chuzhou laughed so hard that she fell back and forth. Jia Long. Ha ha ha. Fake dragon. Then you are actually a worm. TSK, why don't we just call you a worm? The people of the Tianyuan continent immediately laughed out loud and ridiculed Jia Long's name. They felt that regardless of whether Yun Chuzhou could win this competition or not, at least she would not be at a disadvantage once she went up. Unlike the other 5 contestants who felt timid the moment they went up. Stupid girl. Don't be so glib. Do you admit defeat or not? Jia Long roared angrily out of embarrassment. Admit defeat? I, Yun Chuzhou, have never known how to spell the word admit defeat. I would like to ask you, do you admit defeat or not? If you don't admit defeat, it would be terrible if I accidentally kill you later. You're courting death. Jia Long decided not to waste time with Yun Chuzhou, and directly shot a huge spiritual python at Yun Chuzhou. Yo, your spiritual beast is a little loach. Look at my invincible little piggy. Yun Chuzhou said as she released a cute little spiritual pig. Jia Long was stunned. The host was stunned. The referee was stunned. The people below were stunned. What was that? Did they see wrongly? Yun Chuzhou's spiritual beast was a pig? And it was a piglet? Wasn't this too weird? What could such a weak spiritual beast do? Could it be that it was preparing to kill its enemies with cuteness? A few people had seen Yun Chuzhou's spiritual beast piglet when they were in the Misty Valley. They thought to themselves, you guys still don't know how powerful this perverted piglet is. You guys won't think that way in a while. Jia Long was first stunned when he saw the spiritual power piglet that Yun Chuzhou released, then, he laughed wildly. Smelly girl, your spiritual beast is actually a piglet. Ha ha ha. You have the nerve to release such an embarrassing spiritual beast. I've finally learned something today. Yun Chujio smiled faintly at him. Is that so? Don't worry. Before I die, I'll let you learn a lot. Jia Long was about to mock Yun Chujio, but he was stunned. That little piglet was actually devouring his spirit energy python. How was this possible? How could a spirit energy beast devour someone else's spirit energy beast? The crowd below the stage also cried out in surprise. Oh my God! That little piglet is actually devouring the spirit energy of the spirit energy python. This is too unbelievable. Yeah, I've never heard of such a spirit energy beast. This is too abnormal. It can devour spirit energy beasts. Does this mean that it can turn the spirit energy it devoured into its own? That's for sure. Otherwise, where did the spirit energy it devoured go? The people from the Netherworld continent heard the people from the Tian Yuan continent shouting. They mocked, "Humph! Although that spirit energy piglet is quite abnormal, no matter how abnormal it is, it can't devour the python." In the end, the winner is still Jia Long. That's right. It's just a piglet with some characteristics. How can it swallow the entire python? Just you wait. In less than 15 minutes, Yun Chujio will be defeated. Chapter 1460 wouldn't let anyone live anymore. Jia Long had the same thoughts as those people. Although this spirit piglet was a little strange, it wasn't a match for the spirit python. Yun Chujio, you're dead. Yun Chujio smiled. Sigh, a piglet is too lonely. Come, piglet number 2, go. Following Yun Chujio's words, another spirit piglet pounced on the spirit python. Everyone immediately cried out in surprise, "Oh my God, why is there another spirit piglet?" Could it be that this spirit piglet is a mid-grade material transformation technique? Not a high-grade material transformation technique? That's not right, that spirit piglet clearly has intelligence. Fuck. Oh my God. Isn't Yun Chujio at the 5th level of the spirit sect? Not to mention a high-grade material transformation technique, even a mid-grade material transformation technique can only be mastered by a spirit saint. What is going on? Could it be that Yun Chujio has the cultivation of a spirit paragon? Stop bullshitting. How is that possible? How old is she? It's impossible. Besides, if we can't see her true cultivation, can't those mighty figures see it too? You're right. Then what is going on? It's really strange. However, even if there are 2 little piggies, they won't be a match for that spirit python. After all, the person stopped abruptly because Yun Chujio, who was on the stage, said with a smile, "How can 2 be enough? Piglets 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, come at me together." A group of spirit power piglets pounced on the spirit power python. Jia Long was dumbfounded. A group of spirit power piglets? Even if it was an intermediate materialized spell, it wouldn't be able to release so many spirit power beasts. How was this possible? Not only him, the host, the judge, and everyone below the stage were all stunned. They had never heard of anyone being able to release so many spirit beasts in one go. This Yun Chujio was simply not human. She was a monster. She could refine pills, make talismans, and tame beasts. Even her spiritual energy physical transformation technique was so freakish. Would you let us ordinary people live? You are too freakish. Just as Jia Long was in a daze, 5 spiritual energy piglets suddenly gave up on the spiritual energy python and pounced towards his vital points. Jia Long was shocked and quickly activated his spiritual energy shield. The 5 spiritual energy piglets lay on top of the spiritual energy shield and began to gnaw. As the amount of spiritual energy absorbed increased, the size of the spiritual energy piglets became more and more solid, and they became more and more agile. Jia Long quickly took out his 9 cauldrons Kuei long blade and removed the spiritual energy shield. After that, he went to attack the spiritual energy piglets. Although the spiritual energy piglets had some intelligence, they still could not dodge Jia Long's attack very nimbly. Very soon, they were scattered by Jia Long. Before Jia Long could let out a sigh of relief, he saw Yun Chuzhou shout clearly, "Look at the hidden weapons." Jia Long was shocked. He saw Yun Chuzhou shooting several small purple needles at him. Jia Long felt relieved. He thought it was some hidden weapons, but it turned out to be just some small needles. Yun Chuzhia's spiritual energy materialization technique was different from others, they were all strange. Jia Long thought to himself, although this small spiritual energy needle was rare, its attack power must be very weak. I have lost face just now, so I might as well use this small spiritual energy needle to look for it. Therefore, Jia Long saw the small purple needle shooting over, so he stretched out his hand, he pinched all the little purple needles with his fingers and then laughed arrogantly. "Darn girl, return it to," before Jia Long could say the word, "you," the little purple needles in his hands exploded one after another. Jia Long's entire right arm was blown away. Chapter 1461 was born to be a leader. Everyone understood what had happened, and Jia Long's arm was blown away. Oh my God! Could it be that the power of those small purple needles was so great? How could such tiny spiritual energy needles have such great power? As expected, what happened to Yun Chuzhou, this pervert, could not be predicted by common sense. While everyone was stunned, they saw Yun Chuzhou shoot a few more purple needles at Jia Long's face. Jia Long was screaming in pain. He did not expect that Yun Chuzhou would continue to attack and get hit by those purple needles. With the sound of explosions, Jia Long died. Everyone was stunned. No one expected that Yun Chuzhou would do this. She would continue to attack even when Jia Long had lost his right arm. Wasn't this too cruel? The people from the Netherworld continent immediately began to curse angrily, "Yun Chuzhou. You are too vicious. Jia Long's right arm has already been crippled by you. Why do you still want to take his life? That's right. This is a competition stage and not a battlefield. What you are doing is really too much. The most vicious is a woman's heart. This Yun Chuzhou is really too vicious." Yun Chuzhou stood silently on the stage until the discussion quieted down a little, only then did she proudly say, "You all think that I was too vicious when I killed Jia Long. Then what about our Tianyuan Academy's senior who was forced to kneel down by him and was heavily injured by his kick? Moreover, you all think that if Jia Long were to defeat me, do you all think that he would spare my life? Remember this, anyone who offends me, Yun Chuzhou, will be killed no matter how strong they are. Anyone who offends me, Tianyuan, will be killed no matter how far away they are." Everyone was shocked by Yun Chuzhia's last sentence. They did not expect a little girl in her teens to have such boldness and courage to say such words. Although the little girl on the stage had a young face and not much spiritual power, at this moment, everyone remembered a name, Yun Chuzhou. They knew that this name would definitely be famous throughout the world in the future, and this name would definitely bring shock to everyone again and again. The people of the Tianyuan continent could only feel the blood in their bodies boiling up, and they all raised their arms and shouted, "Those who offend the Tianyuan, although far away, must be killed. Those who offend the Tianyuan, although far away, must be killed." Even those mighty figures felt their emotions surging, and they wished they could also shout a few times. Di Linhan was so excited that his hands were trembling slightly. He had thought that Yun Chuzhou had already given him enough surprises, but he had not expected the little girl to give him such a huge surprise. With just a single sentence, she was able to resonate with the entire Tianyuan continent. With just a single sentence, she was able to make everyone's blood boil. Such a person was born to be a leader, born to be at the top. In an instant, all the mighty figures lost their color in front of Yun Chuzhia's brilliance. At this moment, there was only one figure in everyone's heart, and that was Yun Chujio, who stood proudly on the stage. Vice Palace Master Liu's expression changed slightly. He originally thought that she was just a little girl. Although it was a little strange, but after all, her spiritual power was still very low. He did not expect that she actually had such an ability to bewitch people's hearts. With just a single sentence, she had roused everyone's fighting spirit. When she grew up, she would definitely become a huge threat. He had to kill her before she was strong enough. Si Tushar gnashed his teeth in hatred. Originally, it was a wrong thing for the smelly girl to kill her opponent in the competition. He did not expect that with just a few words from her, not only would she be cleared of the crime, she would even trigger the resonance of everyone in the Tianyuan continent. It was really detestable to the extreme. Chapter 1462 should be done the old-fashioned way. Si Tushar gritted his teeth. Yun Chujio, you forced me to do this. Initially, I had planned to let Jia Long win against your Tianyuan Academy, but since you are so arrogant, then I will take this opportunity to get rid of you. Mu Yan, you go. Kill Yun Chujio. Yes. A figure jumped onto the competition stage. Yun Chujio sized up the man opposite her. He was about 20 years old, and his looks were not bad. However, his entire person exuded a sinister aura, which was really displeasing. Netherworld Academy, Mu Yan. After the man reported his name, he attacked Yun Chujio with his spiritual power. Fuck. Are you still shameless? I'm not ready yet, and you're already making a move. Is your Netherworld Academy crazy to want to win? You actually sent such an impolite thing. It's really embarrassing. Yun Chujio cursed as she dodged. Yun Chujio's image in everyone's mind suddenly collapsed. Damn, why did we think that she was a female Azura, a female fiend? This guy was just a little pervert. Mu Yan was obviously more thoughtful than the previous Jia Long. Even though Yun Chujio scolded him, he was indifferent and launched another spiritual attack. Mu Yan's spiritual attack was a two-headed snake. It looked very ferocious and looked much more agile than Jia Long's giant python. Yun Chujio dodged while releasing a group of spiritual piglets to entangle the two-headed snake. Then, she released a few more spiritual piglets to pounce on Mu Yan. Mu Yan took out his spiritual sword and struck the spiritual piglets. The spiritual piglets quickly dissipated. Yun Chujio used the same trick again and shot several small purple needles. Mu Yan learned from Jia Long's lesson and directly used his spiritual sword to strike the small purple needles. The explosion of the small purple needles did not cause any damage to Mu Yan. After Mu Yan dodged Yun Chujio's attack, he leaped and stabbed towards Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio dodged to the side, and the two of them fought together. Everyone was scared silly. They originally thought that Yun Chujio releasing 10 spirit piglets in one breath was already abnormal enough. They did not expect that this time, this guy released a total of 15 spirit piglets. Oh god, this guy was too abnormal. However, she used so much spiritual power in one attack. How long could she last? Her spiritual power would be exhausted soon, right? 15 minutes later, Yun Chujio was still alive and kicking as she fought with Mu Yan. An hour passed, and the piglets continued to attack Mu Yan and his spiritual power twin-headed snake. Everyone was shocked by Yun Chujio's abnormal behavior. Damn, abnormal was indeed abnormal. She was still alive and kicking after an hour. Her spiritual power reserve was too abnormal, right? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. This stalemate was not a solution. It was better to use the old method. After Yun Chujio found the upper hand, she shouted loudly, "Look at the hidden weapon." Mu Yan saw something glancing over and quickly turned his body to the side. After that thing hit the competition stage, the chili powder inside flew out and covered Mu Yan's entire body, especially when the chili powder was in his eyes. The feeling was indescribable. Mu Yan's heart sank. It was over. He had fallen into the trap. Mu Yan quickly activated the defensive spiritual tool on his body. Yun Chujio released a group of spiritual piglets to attack Mu Yan's defensive barrier. Moreover, she kept shooting purple needles. The sound of explosions rose and fell continuously. Seeing that things were not good, Si Tushar shouted loudly, "Referee! Referee! Yun Chujio cheated! Yun Chujio cheated! She used poison!" Chapter 1463. This was indeed not poison. The judges on the stage were all stunned by Yun Chujio's valiance. When they heard Si Tushi's shout, they hurriedly shouted, "Mu Yan, Yun Chujio, you guys stop first." Yun Chujio's heart was filled with hatred. This old bastard Si Tushar was truly treacherous. If it wasn't for him causing trouble, she might have won. Although Yun Chujio was unwilling, the judge had spoken, so she could only stop attacking. Mu Yan took this opportunity to quickly wash his eyes with clear water. Both of his eyes were red like rabbits. One of the judges said, "Yun Chujio, the use of poison is forbidden in this competition. You have used poison, so your qualification for the competition has been revoked." The seventh round, the Netherworld Academy's Mu Yan wins. When the crowd below the competition stage heard the referee's words, they immediately exploded. The people from the Netherworld continent naturally clapped repeatedly, thinking that the referee was really too wise. On the other hand, the people from the Tian Yuan continent sighed repeatedly. "Yun Chujio, Yun Chujio, you're really smart, but you've been fooled by your own cleverness. You just need to hold on for a little longer, and you might be able to win. Why do you need to use poison? Oh right, what kind of poison needs to be used in a sack? Isn't this too much of a waste?" Just as everyone was discussing animatedly, Yun Chujio spoke up. "Judge, I didn't use poison. I don't admit to such a crime." Si Tushar interrupted our competition for no reason. "I request that Netherworld Academy be judged to have lost this round. You didn't use poison. If you didn't use poison, why is Mu Yan in so much pain? Is he still unable to move normally?" Si Tushar stretched his neck and shouted from below. Yun Chujio spread out her hands. "I really didn't use poison. How about this, all the judges, go over and take a look for yourself. I really didn't use any poison." The judges saw that Yun Chujio was speaking very seriously, so they could only walk over to where the big sack was. They saw a patch of red powder on the ground. A judge who was proficient in using poison used his hands to sniff it, and his face was stiff. The rest of the people were confused. "Is this poison?" The judge smiled bitterly. "This is indeed not poison. Then what is it?" "Chili powder. Chili powder. Chili powder." Everyone felt as if tens of thousands of godly beasts were roaring in their hearts. Damn, this Yun Chujio was too mean. Although this chili powder was not poison, if it were to enter the eyes of a person, who would be able to stand it? However, even if you said that she broke the rules, she really did not break the rules. After all, the chili powder could only be considered as a condiment, not a poison. It could only be said that this person was really too despicable. Yun Chujio said with a smile, "Judges, these aren't poisons, right? How could someone like me who abides by the rules use poison? Since I've already proven my innocence, Si Tushar has interrupted the competition. Should we judge Netherworld Academy to lose?" Si Tushar was so angry that he gritted his teeth, he stretched his neck and shouted, "Although the chili powder is not considered poison, it is similar to poison in the competition. Therefore, even if Yun Chujio is not disqualified from the competition, Mu Yan cannot be judged to have lost. We should let them continue the competition." The few judges discussed for a moment and felt that Si Tushi's words made sense. Although the chili powder was not poison, its power was not inferior to poison. Hence, they announced that the competition would continue. They also warned Yunchujio that she was not allowed to use the chili powder anymore. One of the judges added that she was not allowed to use the chili powder either. Yunchujio touched her nose. "Alright, if you don't say it, I will really use it." Chapter 1464, Power of the Netherworld. Although Mu Yan's eyes were still a little red and swollen, he was already fine. He stared at Yunchujio viciously. "Damn girl, it looks like I have to use my trump card. Today, you will definitely die." Mu Yan bit his index finger and started to form a seal. "With my blood, I will sacrifice the Netherworld. Power of the Netherworld, come." Yunchujio saw that Mu Yan bit his index finger and instantly knew that something bad was about to happen. Therefore, she immediately shot out several small purple needles. Unfortunately, Mu Yan was already prepared and activated the defensive spirit tool on his body, hence, Yunchujio could only watch helplessly as Mu Yan completed his secret technique. The expressions of the mighty figures on the VIP stage of the Tianyuan continent changed. The power of the Netherworld. 11 years ago, it was because of this power of the Netherworld that the Tianyuan continent suffered a great loss. Who would have thought that someone would use the power of the Netherworld again today? They started to worry for Yunchujio on the stage, especially Di Linhan. They had made preparations. If Yunchujio was in danger, he would immediately go up to save her. Victory and defeat were not as important as little Jiu's life. Mu Yan had already completed his hand seals and his entire person looked even more sinister. "Damned girl, today I'll let you experience the power of the Netherworld." Yunchujio curled her lips. "Power of the Netherworld? I've never heard of it. Just use it. However, I say, Mu Yan, if you use this thing once, you'll have to use your blood as a sacrifice. Aren't you afraid that you'll die from blood loss?" Mu Yan gritted his teeth and said, "Nonsense. Die." After Mu Yan finished speaking, he released his spirit energy double-headed snake again. However, this time, the spirit energy double-headed snake was emitting a blue light. Yunchujio could feel a chill from afar. Yunchujio recalled that Di Biming was poisoned by the cold poison. It must have been caused by some bullshit netherworld power. This thing seemed to be very overbearing. She had to be careful. Yunchujio released a few piglets with spiritual power, and the piglets pounced on the two-headed snake. What surprised Yunchujio was that after the piglets swallowed the spiritual power of the two-headed snake, they were actually frozen into ice sculptures, then, they slowly disappeared. Mu Yan laughed wildly, "Stupid girl, can't you release the piglets? Why don't you do it? No matter how much you release, I will make them turn into ice piglets." Yunchujio's heart tightened. This was bad. Her little spirit piglet was completely unable to deal with this damned power of the netherworld. What about the little purple needles? Yunchujio fired several little purple needles at the spirit power twin-headed snake. When the little purple needles got close to the twin-headed snake, they also turned into ice needles and then dissipated. Di Linhan clenched his fists. It was the same back then. It was this power of the netherworld that gave all the mighty figures in the Tianyuan continent a headache. No matter what kind of spirit power attack was used, it would be turned into ice sculptures by the power of the netherworld. At this moment, the spirit power twin-headed snake had already pounced in front of Yunchujio. Yunchujio quickly leaped to dodge. In order to be on the safe side, she activated her defensive spirit tool. She did not expect that the power of the netherworld was extremely overbearing. It had actually easily broken through several layers of Yunchujio's defensive barrier. Damn it, this damned power of the netherworld was indeed difficult to deal with. Yunchujio gave up on materializing her spiritual power and directly used the purple lightning to strike the two-headed spiritual snake. Her idea was very simple. No matter what kind of bullshit power of the netherworld you had, no matter how powerful you were, you would still be afraid of heavenly lightning. Not to mention, after the purple lightning struck the two-headed spiritual snake, the two-headed spiritual snake's movement slowed down. Yun Chujio was overjoyed and continued to use the purple lightning to strike the two-headed spiritual snake. However, the problem soon arose. Although the purple lightning was effective against the two-headed spiritual snake, Yun Chujio's purple lightning was still too weak compared to the two-headed spiritual snake. Even after dozens of strikes, the two-headed spiritual snake did not suffer any substantial damage. Chapter 1465 Power of the Netherworld was just so when Mu Yen saw that Yun Chujio's purple lightning could actually restrain the power of the Netherworld, he couldn't help but turn pale with fright. However, when he saw that Yun Chujio's purple lightning was still very weak, he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart. This smelly girl was indeed strange. While she was still weak, he must kill her. When Mu Yen thought of this, he took out his spirit sword and stabbed it towards Yun Chujio. On one hand, Yun Chujio had to defend against the attack of the two-headed spirit snake, and on the other hand, she had to deal with Mu Yen, so she immediately became a little flustered. At this moment, Di Linhan had already stood up and was ready to go up to save Yun Chujio. Then, he saw Yun Chujio call out 8 immortal swords. The 8 immortal swords flew up and down, protecting Yun Chujio in the middle. Di Linhan was so shocked that he sat back down on his seat. Almost everyone was dumbfounded. Controlling 8 swords at the same time. Holy shit! How strong was his spiritual sense? This was too scary. This Yun Chujio was indeed not human. This was too freakish. Although the two-headed spirit snake could freeze spiritual power, it had no effect on the immortal swords. On the contrary, these immortal swords were afraid of the heat and liked the cold. They almost cheered as they rushed towards the two-headed spirit snake. Yun Chujio simply activated the defensive spiritual weapon on her body. This way, she was not afraid of Mu Yan's sneak attack. She could concentrate on commanding the 8 immortal swords to deal with the two-headed snake with spiritual power. A part of the spiritual power of the two-headed snake had been consumed by Yun Chujio's lightning. After being besieged by the 8 immortal swords, it immediately fell into a disadvantageous position. Moreover, Yun Chujio also attacked it with lightning from time to time. Damn it! I told you to bully my little piglet, I told you to freeze my little 9 lightning needles, immortal sword number 1, number 2. Number 8, kill it for me. Avenge my little piglet. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth as she commanded the 8 immortal swords to slash at the two-headed snake. The people below the stage were dumbfounded. They finally understood one thing. This fellow's naming was the same trick. Baby pig number 1 to number 15, the immortal sword was also number 1 to number 8. Wait, the immortal sword? What? All 8 of them were immortal swords. Fuck. Wasn't this guy too rich? It was already rare for an ordinary person to have an immortal sword, so how could she have 8? However, after thinking about it, they guessed that it was given to her by the palace master's wife. After all, the longevity hall was rich and generous, so it was not a big deal to take out 8 immortal swords. Although the spirit energy twin-headed snake was powerful, it was only formed from the gathering of spirit energy. After the spirit energy was exhausted, it turned into nothingness. Mu Yen turned pale with fright and squeezed out another drop of blood, trying to form a seal. Unexpectedly, he actually staggered and fell on the competition stage. Yun Chujio naturally would not let go of such a good opportunity. She released a group of spirit energy piglets and pounced on Mu Yen, who was on the ground. Mu Yen quickly activated the defensive spirit tool on his body and blocked the spirit energy piglets 3 feet away. Then, he stood up and began to form a seal. Yun Chujio's eyes deepened. She commanded the 8 immortal swords to stab in one direction and suddenly shot out several small purple needles at the same place. The sound of explosions kept coming. Mu Yan's secret technique had yet to be performed. The defensive barrier was broken under Yun Chujia's violent bombardment. Several spirit energy piglets pounced on him. Mu Yan scrambled to take out his spiritual swords to block, but it was too late. Not only did several piglets of spiritual power pounce at him, but 8 immortal swords also stabbed at his vital points. Mu Yan screamed a few times and died. After Yun Chujio put away the immortal swords, she said to Si Tushar, "The power of the netherworld is just so. Chapter 1466. One more round. After being stunned for a moment, Di Linhan and the other almighties looked at each other. The shock in their hearts could not be expressed in words. The power of the netherworld that they had always been having a headache over was actually so easily countered by Yun Chujio. So the best way to counter the attack of the power of the netherworld was not to use the same spiritual power but to use a spirit tool instead? Yes, spiritual power could be frozen, but spiritual weapons could not. They were really stupid. Of course, this did not mean that the power of the netherworld was easy to deal with. After all, Yun Chujio was the only freak who could command 8 immortal swords at the same time. However, this at least provided a feasible way to deal with the power of the netherworld. Si Tushar wished that he could personally go up and kill Yun Chujio. This wretched girl was really too detestable. Mu Yan was one of the few people he had managed to nurture who could use the power of the netherworld, yet he was killed by her just like that. Most importantly, Yun Chujio had won 2 rounds in a row. She could not continue winning. However, this wretched girl was too abnormal. Who could be sent up to kill her? Si Tushar was frowning when Li Han walked to Si Tushi's side and said softly, "Headmaster, it seems that it is really difficult to defeat Yun Chujio in the spiritual power competition. But don't forget that even if she wins 3 more rounds, she will only draw with us. We can request for another round to decide the winner. Then you can suggest that we don't have any restrictions and can use any means. When I use my spiritual beast to deal with her, she will be exhausted after 5 rounds. When that time comes, I will definitely be able to kill her with my spiritual beast." Si Tushar thought about it and felt that Li Han's idea was not bad. Indeed, there were no stronger candidates to deal with Yun Chujio now. Why not send people to exhaust her physical strength and spirit energy? When the time comes, Li Han would be stronger. Not only could they win the competition, but they could also kill Yun Chujio. Yes, that was the plan. Thus, Si Tushar sent 3 contestants to the stage in a row. Although their spirit energy was not as strong as Jiaolong and Mu Yango's, they were still at the 8th level of the Spirit Saint realm. Although Yun Chujio had won all of the matches with the help of the little piglet of spiritual power, there were beads of sweat on her forehead. This guy was abnormal, but he was not a god. Naturally, he would be tired. Yun Chujio had a rough guess in her heart. Si Tushar, this old bastard, must be scheming something. I want to see what you want. After 3 rounds, the host looked at the judges with a troubled expression. This 5-5 match has become a draw. What should we do next? Before the 10 judges could say anything, Si Tushar shouted at Din Huangfu, let's try another round. We have to decide the winner. Din Huangfu saw Yun Chujio nod at him and said, sure. Si Tushar continued with a fake smile, however, since it's an additional round, the rules should naturally change. How about this? This round's additional round won't restrict the rules. We can use all kinds of methods. I wonder if Din Huangfu dares to accept the challenge. Din Huangfu's heart sank. What was this Si Tushar planning? Little Nine had fought 5 rounds in a row and was already exhausted. Could it be that he wanted to take Little Nine's life? When Si Tushar saw that Din Huangfu did not speak, he sneered and said, Din Huangfu, could it be that you are afraid? Or is it that your Tian Yuan Academy does not dare to accept the challenge? Dean Huangfu naturally couldn't back down after being interrogated by Si Tushi. Otherwise, the Tian Yuan Academy and even the Tian Yuan continent would have a reputation of being cowardly. He smiled faintly and said, "Why wouldn't I dare? It's just that this round, we want to change the participants. Yun Chuzhou, come down." Chapter 1467, Money or Death. Wait. Dean Huangfu, Yun Chuzhou must participate in this round. Si Tushi heard Dean Huangfu asking Yun Chuzhou to come down. He was anxious. "We are going to kill this bitch. If she doesn't participate, why are we still competing?" Si Tushi felt that killing Yun Chuzhou was more important than obtaining the second stage of the competition. This bitch was too evil. If she grew up, she would definitely become a huge threat. Killing her was the most important thing. This competition was the best opportunity. Otherwise, when she returned to the Tian Yuan Academy, it would be too difficult to kill her. Dean Huangfu was furious. "Dean Si Tushi, there isn't such a rule in the competition rules. We have to compete with the same person, right? Isn't it normal for us to switch people?" Si Tushi was speechless. Indeed, the rules did not say that Yun Chuzhou had to participate in the competition. Si Tushi could not help but blame Li Han in his heart. This fool, he had really screwed him to death. Just as Si Tushi was frowning, Yun Chuzhou, who was on the stage, said, "Principal Si Tushi, do you really want me to participate in the competition? It was not impossible for me to participate. After all, 1 sheep would be released, and 2 sheep would be driven. However, I have a condition. If you can fulfill the condition that I put forward, I will participate." Si Tushi was stunned. "What condition?" "It's very simple. Just spend some money to settle it. You pay me 100 million upper-grade spirit stones as the entrance fee, and I will participate in the competition," Yun Chuzhou said with a grin. Everyone was stunned. Damn! There was no one else who was so greedy. This Yun Chuzhou really wanted money but didn't want her life. The additional competition would definitely be a trap for her. She was actually willing to jump into it for money. Wasn't that too greedy? Di Linhan frowned. Could it be that Bei Ming was too stingy towards little Jiu? Why did it feel like little Jiu was very short of money? That wasn't right. Didn't she already extort 100 million upper-grade spirit stones from Si Tushi previously? Why was she still so greedy? Actually, Yun Chuzhou wasn't always after spirit stones. She knew that Si Tushi's additional test was targeted at her. Even if Dean Huangfu didn't agree, Si Tushi would still think of ways to force him to agree. Since that was the case, why not she take the initiative? Moreover, she could use any method. "I want torture you to death." When Si Tushi heard Yun Chuzhou's request, he was so angry that he started to twitch. "You're really asking for too much." The competition between the Netherworld Academy and the Tian Yuan Academy was only 100 million spirit stones. She had already extorted 100 million from him, and now she wanted another 100 million. She was really too greedy. However, Si Tushi really wanted to kill Yun Chuzhou. Therefore, even though his heart ached terribly, he still gritted his teeth and said, "All right. I promise you. But you must participate in the competition immediately. You can't delay the time." Yun Chuzhou nodded her head indifferently. "No problem. As long as the money is in place, nothing is a problem." Everyone was speechless. This fellow was really desperate for money. "You're already so tired. You're not going to rest for a while before starting the battle? Aren't you afraid of exhausting yourself to death?" Si Tushi saw that Yun Chuzhou had agreed and immediately transferred 100 million upper-grade spirit stones to Yun Chuzhou. Then, he instructed Li Han not to talk nonsense with Yun Chuzhou after he went up and directly attacked her, not giving her a chance to catch her breath. After Li Han agreed, he leaped onto the competition stage. When Yun Chujio saw that it was Li Han, she was instantly delighted. "Oh, you're going to lose. You're not planning to use a group of spirit beasts to beat me up, are you? Let me tell you, the thing that I'm least afraid of is spirit beasts." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.